How to start an online business with no money. Okay, there's a lot of people that say that you can't start a business with no money, and that is not true at all. It's actually where I started. In fact, I was negative cash flow. I was massively in debt. I'm gonna show you in this video how I did it with no money. Let's dive in. All right, a few months ago, there was a guy who was, I was on Clubhouse. I don't get on Clubhouse often, but I was getting interviewed on it, and someone came up and they said, Steve, when am I enough of an expert to start charging? And I was like, that's a good question. And I started responding when I said, the problem is that you think you have to be an expert to start charging. Making money on the internet has nothing to do with being an expert, all right? And it's one of the weirdest realities that there is. You don't get paid to be an expert, you get paid to solve problems. So if you're looking up a video on how to start a business without money, it's actually really easy. And those who think they need money are usually the ones who think they need to be an expert. So now let's go ahead and I want to show you guys how I actually was able to start a company and how all companies bootstrap from the ground up with no cash out of hand because they don't need to be an expert. Now let's dive in. When I was in college, one of the first skill sets I realized that I would need as an entrepreneur is sales. And if I did not know how to sell, I could not be an entrepreneur. Isn't that interesting? So I went and I said, I'm gonna go learn sales in the toughest environments that I can. So this is my conscious choice. So I was like, I'm gonna go to door to door. So I started in door to door sales and I did 2 summers of door to door sales and I was a telemarketer because I was like, man, I wanna be like Robert Kiyosaki. I wanna learn how to sell in the suckiest environments that there are. And I figured if I could figure out how to do that, I could be an entrepreneur. And I'm so grateful for that. If I had not learned how to sell, I wouldn't have been an entrepreneur. Well, when I was in door to door sales, I remember there was this time we were driving out to our spots. And I know I was that guy, sorry. All right, I'm knocking on all your doors. And I remember we were driving out and I was looking at all these billboards. And these billboards were passing by. And I'd had a lot of rejection the day before. Just this whole neighborhood just basically threw me out, okay? It was hard. And I remember looking up at these billboards and I remember thinking, holy cow, people call these billboards asking to be sold, right? You're not gonna call a billboard without intent to buy, or at least get close to buy. But I'm waking up every day and I'm trying to convince people who are not planning on spending money today to spend money. That's a harder problem. And I started realizing like, oh my gosh, I should learn how to do this. And so I started putting out these little ads all over the internet. One thing led to another. That's actually how I got online. I was through door to door and I started getting all these phone sales. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this internet thing, what is this internet thing? I want to tell you guys the first big secret to this, because I really messed up real bad on this, okay? So there I was, and I finally got onto the internet space, and I was like, I'm gonna go write an ebook, right? Ebooks take no money to fulfill. I can send it to you through an email link, and it's pure profit, right? And so I went and I wrote this ebook, and I was in college, and guys, I failed out of my first semester of college. I got kicked out. I had to wait 4 years to reapply. I barely graduated high school. So when I learned how to learn and I went back into college, I was excited because I almost got straight A's the rest of college and ended with a 3.85. It was awesome. And it was super cool. So think about this. Okay, stick with me real quick on this, all right? I'm gonna tell you some key secrets also at the end of this video on this, okay? But think about this. So I went out and I created an ebook called Top 10 Ways to Get Straight A's, okay? And I went out and I wrote this ebook and it was a big deal to me because of my history. It was so hard. School was a hard thing for me for a long time. And I went and I wrote this ebook, Top 10 Ways to Get Straight A's, because I was basically getting straight A's. And I had a lot of research, where to sit in the room to increase retention, stuff like that. Really nerdy. Released it. Nobody bought. All right, nobody bought. You're trying to figure out how to start a business with no money? Totally possible if you choose the right problem to solve. Just as I was saying in the intro of this, and that's the first step, you guys, I need you to sit down and start writing out all the problems that you identify are out in the marketplace. Not your problems, problems that your dream customer is having. And that's exactly what I was going through. I started writing all of these problems down that I was having. But you don't fill your own wallet, right? So I was getting problems from the wrong place. So the first step with this, how do you start a business with no money? Don't think it's about the money. Think it's about the problems. And they can't be your problems. They have to be your dream customer's problems. So start writing down all their problems and let's dive into step 2. All right, step number 2 here, I need you guys to go, and now that you have a big list of problems that you see your dream customer has, solve one. That's all products are. They're solutions. And they're not solutions for your problems, remember? They're solutions for the dream customer. Solve one of their problems. That's what products are. So now you have the product, We got to get people excited about it. When I decided to leave my job about 3.5 years ago, as the time of me filming this here, 3.5 years ago, I left my job and I had no product, no cash flow. In fact, I was negative cash flow. I had no sales funnel. I don't recommend this, by the way. It's just I was a sales funnel pro for ClickFunnels, so I was like, I got this. So I left and I had nothing. But what I did have was I had a tiny, small little audience, few hundred people, and I had been continually telling them, something's coming, something's coming, something's coming, something. I didn't even know what it was yet. I was like, something's coming, something's coming, something's coming. And I got them excited. I want you to think about the way Hollywood releases a product. Hollywood goes out and they say 12 months before you can even see it, coming next summer, right? Right? That's like the movie preview. And they're like, hey, here comes Hollywood's product. Movie, right? And 12 months in advance, you're hearing about this thing coming up. They're building the hype. They're building excitement. And what happens 6 months later? Another new preview comes out. And it's about the antagonist, right? And then what happens like 3 weeks before the movie goes out? All the actors go on tour and they hit the Tonight shows. And right? Like, hey, what was it like being in that movie? Oh, crazy, let's watch that scene, right? And then they say, coming out this weekend, folks, go check it out, box office weekend. That's it. They know how to create hype and a pre-launch. They know how to create buzz before it's even available. And that is the biggest secret on how to make it in any business with no money. Make launches great again, okay? Make launches great again. That's my whole jam. We go out and we help you create buzz before your thing's even available. And you can do that for free and with no money. Before I show you the most key piece of all of this and the thing that puts money in your pocket, guys, comment down below. We spent a lot to get this in front of you. This is free information. I want to know down below, what is the coolest way that you think you could get attention of your dream customer for free? I think it'd be cool if we treated the bottom of this video like a big brainstorm session. What are all the ways that you could actually get really cool attention and pre-buzz and pre-noise for free? Put it down below. The third and the most important piece of this entire formula is to not take profit. All right, let's go back to when I left the job and I'm building up all this hype and I released the course and I released this thing and I continued to sell it every single week. What was interesting though is I really didn't pay myself for the first 3 or 4 months. And it's because I was taking all the money that I was making, selling every week, and I just dumped it right back into my business, back into ads, right? Back into product production and creation. And that's really what happened the first 3 or 4 months. Now that's the biggest secret. Okay, when you should watch a show like Shark Tank, someone like who watches Shark Tank, you guys have noticed, the person who pitches, they have a great advantage. They get this huge influx of cash, right? But it's golden handcuffs. They don't own their own company anymore. They don't make all the decisions on their own anymore. It's golden handcuffs, right? And so what we want to do is we still want the effect of all that cash flow, but we don't want the golden handcuffs. So the easiest way to solve that is, guys, businesses need consistent cash flow and leads. Those are the two things all companies need or they die. And that has to be your prime focus or you will not be in business for very long, okay? And so cash flow and leads, cash flow and leads. So all the money, if you're trying to do this thing from scratch with no money, which is how I did it, thousands do it, okay, every month. It's not hard. And especially since seeing this video, I hope that it's opened your eyes. Take all the money and just dump it right back in. Don't you dare take profit. So here's how I do it. Whenever I go out and I start selling something for the first time, I'm selling, and I grab that cash and I go dump it into things that don't involve my time. They don't involve my engagement at all. Okay, ads. I don't need to be involved in ads. I can hire that out. I can go content production. After I film it or whatever, I'm not involved with it at all, right? I can take that money and go dump it into someone whose sole focus is networking with big people. And so what it starts to do is it takes the sales burden off my shoulders and onto other things that are more automated and more evergreen. And that's how I've kickstarted and created my own seed launch money without going to Shark Tank, without doing a Kickstarter campaign. I own all my equity, right? And I've never taken on VC funding to start this thing. That's how. Real quick, don't leave. Okay, I've got something for you here. I went and I asked tons of internet marketing millionaires, or at least very successful people, what would your final offer be? Let's say you lost everything, right? What would your final offer be that would fund the rest of your life? And what I did is I asked them, how would you create the offer and how would you get evergreen automated attention to it for the rest of your life? It's a free summit. It's totally yours. You just put your email in so we know where to send you, right? We'll send you those videos, but it's totally free. You get free access for 3 or 4 days, I think. Go to yourfinaloffer.com. The link is in the description.